everyone and welcome back to our very next video for English literature. Before we start, let's do a warm-up activity. So I want all of you to rub your hands together like this. Now place them on your eyes. Yes, you can remove it now. Fine. So now let me ask a question. Has any one of you seen puppet? Yeah, the puppet shows. So we have puppets wherein we can put them in our hand, fingers, and we make a story and they enact. So there are many kinds of puppets. This is glove puppets. There are puppets which we use with help of, the movements which we do is with help of strings. So well, by now you would have got an idea. Our chapter relates to a puppet. Now before we start our chapter, let's do the mind map. So here, chapter 9, The Adventure of Pinocchio. Here, Geppetto builds a puppet that can move around. Next, he loves the puppet a lot and names him Pinocchio. He sends Pinocchio to school by selling his coat. Pinocchio is very naughty, goes to circus instead of school and gets into trouble. Geppetto goes to rescue Pinocchio but gets swallowed up by a whale. Pinocchio rescues Geppetto. Seeing his bravery, Fairy turns him into a real boy. Pinocchio becomes a good boy and never misses school again. So here we can see a gist of a chapter, that is The Adventure of Pinocchio. The Adventure of Pinocchio was written by Carlo Collodi in 1880s. Carlo Collodi was an Italian writer and he has written many fairy tales. Well, this Adventure of Pinocchio was adapted as a story by Disney 1940. So this is all about the author. So let's go to the chapter and see what is there store for us about the puppet whose name is Pinocchio. So let's start our chapter, that is The Adventure of Pinocchio. Now this chapter starts when an old man named Geppetto gets a block of wood and he thinks to make a puppet out of it. Well, he starts making puppet by starting forehead, hair and eyes. So once he starts making forehead, hair, when he reaches eye and he's done with the puppet's eyes, the eye starts staring at Geppetto. So it keeps staring at Geppetto and Geppetto asks, "Why are you big wooden eyes, why are you staring at me?" So then again he starts working. Then slowly when he comes down and he reaches the nose, when he finishes with the nose, he sees the nose is growing long. So he cuts the nose, but still it grows. He keeps cutting the nose, but still the nose keeps growing long. Finally, he gets fed up and he leaves. Then he carries on with his next work. Then now he reaches to the mouth portion. He reaches near the mouth portion. Once the mouth is done, the puppet starts laughing. The puppet is laughing and he gets so annoyed and angry. He says, "Stop laughing." So what puppet does? He sticks his tongue out and he just keeps quiet. So his tongue is out and he is just quiet. But then again he is angry, but still he starts working. Now Geppetto reaches, once he finishes the hand of the puppet, what happens now? The puppet, he feels something on his head. What's happening? So what puppet does is he takes the wig out of Geppetto's head and he places it on his own head. So there you can see this puppet. He has stuck his tongue outside. With his hand he takes the wig of Geppetto and he places it on his head. Geppetto tries to take it back, but then leaves him, saying, "Wicked Pinocchio." So he names this puppet as Pinocchio. Now what happens? Geppetto continues with the other parts of the body. He finishes the puppet's leg. Now he places the puppet down and teaches the puppet how to walk. But puppet is made of wood, right? So it cannot walk properly. So Geppetto teaches him how to keep each step forward and walk. Once Pinocchio learns walking, he starts running around the room. Then when he reaches the door, he opens the door, he rushes out. When he goes out, even Geppetto runs behind him, but he's old, right? So he wasn't able to catch Pinocchio. Now Geppetto loved Pinocchio a lot and he wanted Pinocchio to go to school. So what did Geppetto do? Geppetto had not much money, so he sells his coat. He sells his woolly coat and sends Pinocchio to school. Now Pinocchio was very naughty boy. So instead of going to school, he goes to circus with his friends. So he goes to circus and there he faces many problems. He gets into many troubles where a blue fairy helps him out. So blue fairy helps him to get out of all the troubles. And as time passed, now Pinocchio started missing Geppetto. So he goes in search of Geppetto. But by this time, Geppetto, he came to know that Pinocchio is in trouble. So Geppetto went to rescue Pinocchio. But Geppetto was swallowed by a fish. Now Geppetto was not there, he was swallowed. When Pinocchio went in search of Geppetto, he came to know that Geppetto is swallowed by a whale. Now Pinocchio goes and the same whale, even Pinocchio is swallowed by the same whale. Luckily, Pinocchio finds Geppetto in the stomach of the whale. So Pinocchio and Geppetto both are inside the stomach of the whale. Now Pinocchio thinks for an idea. What to do? How do they get out? They start tickling around the stomach of the whale. When they start tickling, what happens with the whale? The whale sneezes them both outside. So they both come out safe and sound. Seeing this bravery, Blue Fairy comes again and converts or changes Pinocchio into a real boy. Now Pinocchio is a real boy, no more puppet, and he is a good boy too. He listens to whatever Geppetto says. He goes to school and he never misses his school again. So this was the story of Pinocchio, the adventures he went through. I would like all of you to enjoy a small video which is done by our kids here. Let us see what's happening in Geppetto's home. He is carving a puppet. Hair, forehead, eye. Now he noticed that the puppet's eyes moved and then stared at him. Seeing this, Geppetto asked, "Big wooden eyes, why do you stare so?" Now Geppetto starts with the nose. The nose is growing again and again. He leaves it. Now he goes to the mouth. When he finishes mouth, Geppetto gets angry and says, "Stop laughing." The puppet stops laughing, but he sticks his tongue out. Geppetto is angry, but still he continues with his work. He starts with the hand. Once Pinocchio's hands are done, he takes the wig from Geppetto's head and keeps it. Geppetto gets angry and says, "Give it back," but Pinocchio didn't give. Geppetto, in his anger, says, "Wicked boy, Pinocchio." Now Geppetto starts with his work. Once he is done with the legs, he puts Pinocchio down and teaches him how to walk. As Pinocchio's legs were stiff, Geppetto teaches him how to walk. He loves the puppet a lot and names him Pinocchio. Geppetto sells his coat so that Pinocchio could go to school. But instead of going to school, Pinocchio goes to circus. As Pinocchio had gone to circus instead of school, there he gets into trouble. On hearing the news, Geppetto goes to rescue Pinocchio but gets swallowed up by a whale. Pinocchio is also swallowed up by the whale, where he meets Geppetto and he rescues both Geppetto and himself. Seeing his bravery, Blue Fairy turns him into a real boy. Pinocchio becomes a good boy and never misses his school again. So what do you understand from this story? Yes, we understand the main points here are: you must not be naughty, you must obey your elders, and you must never miss your schools. So here we have come to the end of this chapter, The Adventure of Pinocchio. Now I want you all to take down the activity for this chapter, and here you have to write down any one activity which you know you were very naughty and later on you are sorry to your parents. So you have to note down that activity and send it across to me. And with this we have come to an end of this video. Hope you all understood the chapter, that is The Adventure of Pinocchio. Study well, take care, meet you all in the next video. Till then, bye.